Actors often captivate us with their performances, embodying characters that linger in our minds long after the credits roll. Behind the scenes, their personal lives, struggles, and revelations can be just as fascinating. The final years or moments of their lives sometimes offer profound insights into who they truly were, beyond the lights, cameras, and makeup. These revelations often come through interviews, autobiographies, or anecdotes from friends and loved ones, leaving fans with a sense of connection even after their passing. Here are 30 deeply moving and eye-opening truths we learned about some iconic actors before they died, offering a new perspective on their lives and legacies. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. Robin Williams, the battle beneath the humor. Robin Williams was beloved for his energy, wit, and ability to bring joy to millions. From his roles in Good Will Hunting to Mrs. Doubtfire, his versatility was unmatched. Yet what many didn't know until the final chapters of his life was the extent of his struggles with mental and physical health. In the months before his passing in 2014, Williams was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, a neurodegenerative disorder that profoundly affected his cognitive abilities, mood, and perception. Friends and family revealed how this diagnosis became a devastating weight for the actor. While Williams had been candid about his struggles with addiction and depression in earlier years, the added burden of a misunderstood and incurable disease pushed him into a space of fear and confusion. His widow, Susan Schneider Williams, later shared that he had started to lose trust in his own mind, a harrowing experience for someone so reliant on his sharp intellect and creativity. This revelation about Williams's condition not only deepened our understanding of his tragic death, but also highlighted the importance of empathy and awareness surrounding mental health and neurological diseases. Chadwick Boseman, Strength in Silence. Chadwick Boseman's portrayal of King T'Challa in Black Panther made him a global icon, representing hope and empowerment for countless fans around the world. What few knew was that for much of his career, Boseman was quietly battling stage 3 colon cancer. Diagnosed in 2016, the actor continued to work through surgeries and chemotherapy, delivering one critically acclaimed performance after another. In the years leading up to his death in 2020, Boseman never publicly disclosed his illness. He chose instead to channel his energy into his craft, working on physically demanding films like Da 5 Bloods and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Those who worked with him later recalled his resilience, describing him as unwaveringly professional and focused despite his condition. His silence wasn't born out of fear or shame. It was a deliberate choice to live fully and without pity. The posthumous revelation of his illness inspired many, showing the quiet strength of someone who dedicated his final years to uplifting others through his art, all while fighting a private battle. Heath Ledger, The Search for Meaning. Heath Ledger's death in 2008 shocked the world, coming just as his career was reaching meteoric heights. Known for his dedication to his roles, particularly his iconic portrayal of the Joker in The Dark Knight, Ledger's immersion into his characters was legendary. Yet, as friends and colleagues later revealed, there was a complexity to Ledger's life that reflected a deep need for purpose and fulfillment. In the months before his death, Ledger was intensely focused on creativity, exploring photography, music, and directing. He was known for keeping journals, especially while preparing for roles, and his Joker journal revealed not just his commitment to the craft, but a vulnerability and darkness he was grappling with. Those close to him noted that Ledger had been battling insomnia and overwhelming stress, conditions exacerbated by his relentless pursuit of perfection and the pressures of fame. Ledger's sudden passing due to an accidental overdose of prescription medications was a sobering reminder of the fine line many artists walk between passion and self-destruction. While his untimely death was a tragedy, the insights into his final months offered a poignant picture of an artist who was tirelessly searching for meaning in his work and life. Audrey Hepburn, a humanitarian at heart. Audrey Hepburn remains a symbol of elegance and grace, known for her roles in films like Breakfast at Tiffany's and Roman Holiday. What many didn't fully realize until near the end of her life, however, was the extent of her dedication to humanitarian work. Hepburn had spent much of her post-Hollywood years as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, tirelessly advocating for children in impoverished and war-torn regions. In her final years, Hepburn made over 50 trips to countries such as Somalia, Ethiopia, and Sudan, often putting herself in harm's way to raise awareness about famine and child welfare. Those who worked with her during this time described her as deeply compassionate and driven by her own experiences of hardship during World War II. Hepburn had survived the Nazi occupation of the Netherlands as a teenager, and the hunger and suffering she witnessed left an indelible mark on her. Even as she battled colon cancer in her final months, Hepburn continued to advocate for those in need, using her fame to bring attention to crises that others ignored. Her son, Sean Hepburn Ferrer, later described how she remained hopeful and kind until the end, finding peace in the knowledge that her work had made a difference. This aspect of Hepburn's life, often overshadowed by her Hollywood legacy, revealed the depth of her character and the causes she held close to her heart. Philip Seymour Hoffman, The Weight of Addiction. Philip Seymour Hoffman was widely regarded as one of the greatest actors of his generation, known for his transformative performances in films like Capote and The Master. Behind his professional success, however, was a long struggle with addiction that ultimately claimed his life in 2014. In the years leading up to his death, Hoffman was candid about his battles, openly discussing his efforts to stay sober after decades of drug and alcohol abuse. Hoffman's honesty about his addiction was a rarity in Hollywood, where such struggles are often hidden or glossed over. He spoke about the ongoing nature of recovery, describing addiction as a relentless force that required constant vigilance. In 2013, it was reported that Hoffman had relapsed after 23 years of sobriety, and despite seeking help, he succumbed to an accidental heroin overdose the following year. The revelation of Hoffman's relapse and subsequent death served as a stark reminder of the complexities of addiction. It shattered the notion that recovery is a linear path, highlighting the ongoing challenges faced by those who battle substance abuse. Hoffman's vulnerability and openness about his struggles humanized him in a way that resonated with many, shedding light on the importance of compassion and support for those fighting addiction. Paul Walker, the family man behind the fast cars. Paul Walker became a household name through his role as Brian O'Connor in the Fast and Furious franchise, a series that celebrated adrenaline and adventure. Yet, what became most evident in the final years of his life was the side of Walker that was far removed from Hollywood's glitz. Described by family and friends as grounded and unassuming, Walker's private life was dedicated to his daughter Meadow and his passion for giving back to others. In the years leading up to his untimely death in a car crash in 2013, Walker founded the nonprofit organization Reach Out Worldwide, which focused on providing aid to communities affected by natural disasters. He personally joined relief efforts, working alongside volunteers in places like Haiti after its devastating earthquake in 2010. Despite his fame, he sought no recognition for his efforts, preferring to stay in the background and focus on the work itself. Walker's devotion to his family and philanthropy revealed a man who valued connection over celebrity. His passing was a stark reminder of how quickly life can change, but the stories shared about his humility and generosity painted a picture of someone who lived with purpose and heart. Carrie Fisher, advocating for mental health with humor. Carrie Fisher, forever remembered as Princess Leia in Star Wars, was more than just a Hollywood icon. In the years leading up to her death in 2016, Fisher became an outspoken advocate for mental health awareness, using her own experiences to dismantle stigma and empower others. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder in her early 20s, Fisher was open about the challenges she faced, from manic episodes to struggles with addiction. What set Fisher apart was her ability to address these serious topics with humor and wit. She used her platform to write candid memoirs like Wishful Drinking and The Princess Diarist, blending raw honesty with sharp comedic insights. Fisher often joked about her own difficulties, including her electroconvulsive therapy treatments, framing her struggles in a way that was relatable and deeply human. In her final years, Fisher's advocacy inspired countless individuals to seek help for their mental health. Her candidness and humor taught others that it was okay to embrace imperfection. Her daughter, Billie Lourd, later described Fisher as someone who lived hard and loved fiercely, leaving behind a legacy of resilience and self-acceptance. Bruce Lee, the philosopher of martial arts. Bruce Lee's influence as a martial artist and actor is unparalleled, but what emerged in his final years was the depth of his philosophy. Lee, who passed away at the young age of 32 in 1973, spent much of his life studying not only martial arts, but also the nature of the human spirit. He believed deeply in the importance of self-expression and saw combat as a metaphor for personal growth. In the years before his death, Lee began formulating what would later become known as Jeet Kune Do, a martial arts philosophy that emphasized adaptability and rejecting rigid styles. He spoke about his approach in interviews, describing it as a way to be like water, fluid and formless, able to adapt to any situation. His journals, published posthumously, revealed a man who was deeply introspective, writing extensively about discipline, self-actualization, and the pursuit of balance in life. Lee's untimely death left fans mourning not just a martial arts legend, but a thinker whose ideas extended far beyond physical combat. His teachings continue to inspire people worldwide, offering guidance on how to face challenges with grace and flexibility. James Gandolfini, the Gentle Giant. James Gandolfini's portrayal of mob boss Tony Soprano in The Sopranos earned him critical acclaim, but his off-screen persona was a stark contrast to the ruthless character he made famous. Before his sudden death in 2013, Gandolfini was widely regarded by colleagues and friends as a shy, generous, and deeply empathetic individual. In his final years, Gandolfini made a concerted effort to support young actors and give back to the theater community, which he credited with launching his career. He privately donated to charities and often went out of his way to help struggling artists without seeking recognition. His co-stars shared stories of his humility and kindness, recalling how he would treat every member of a production, from crew members to extras, with the utmost respect. Gandolfini's death revealed the depth of his character, leaving fans to mourn not just the loss of an extraordinary talent, but also a man who exemplified humility in an industry often defined by ego. His life underscored the value of kindness and generosity, qualities that resonated far beyond his work. Brittany Murphy, a life of vulnerability and mystery. Brittany Murphy, known for her roles in films like Clueless and 8 Mile, was a vibrant and charismatic presence on screen. Yet her final years were marked by a sense of vulnerability and mystery that became more apparent after her untimely death in 2009. Murphy, who had risen to fame in the late 1990s, faced intense scrutiny from the media about her appearance, personal relationships, and career choices. In interviews leading up to her passing, Murphy spoke about her struggles with Hollywood's relentless standards and how she often felt misunderstood. Friends described her as sensitive and deeply caring, someone who worked tirelessly to make others feel valued, even as she faced challenges in her own life. Reports about her declining health and her sudden death at age 32 from pneumonia and other complications raised questions about the pressures she faced in the industry. Murphy's story is a reminder of the toll that fame and public scrutiny can take on sensitive individuals. Her warmth and talent left an indelible mark on fans, but her final years also highlighted the need for compassion and support for those navigating the pressures of stardom. Marlon Brando, a tormented genius seeking redemption. Marlon Brando, one of the most influential actors of all time, was known for his groundbreaking performances in A Streetcar Named Desire and The Godfather. However, his later years revealed a deeply tormented man grappling with personal tragedies and his complicated legacy. In his final interviews and writings, Brando opened up about his regrets as a father and his growing disillusionment with Hollywood. Brando's later life was marked by the immense pain of losing his daughter Cheyenne to suicide and the legal troubles surrounding his son Christian. These events profoundly affected him, and he withdrew from the public eye, retreating into his private island in Tahiti. Yet Brando's final years also showed a man seeking redemption. He became an outspoken advocate for indigenous rights and social justice, reflecting on the moral failures of his industry and the world. Despite his larger-than-life reputation, Brando's vulnerability in his final years reminded us that even the greatest talents are not immune to the weight of loss and regret. His humanity, alongside his artistry, makes his story both tragic and deeply compelling. Judy Garland, The Price of Stardom. Judy Garland's life was a testament to the highs and lows of fame. Known worldwide for her role as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, Garland became a symbol of Hollywood's golden age. However, her final years exposed the dark side of her early stardom, revealing the emotional and physical toll that a lifetime in the spotlight had taken on her. In the years leading up to her death in 1969, Garland struggled with financial instability, health problems, and addiction, all of which stem from the pressures placed on her as a child star. Studio executives controlled every aspect of her life during her youth, from her diet to her medications, creating an unstable foundation for her adult years. Despite these hardships, Garland remained resilient, performing in sold-out concerts and connecting with her audiences in deeply personal ways. Her final performances, often described as raw and emotional, showed a woman who poured her soul into her art, even as her life unraveled behind the scenes. Garland's story illuminated the cost of fame and the courage it takes to keep going in the face of unimaginable challenges. Alan Rickman, The Secret Diaries of a Beloved Star. Alan Rickman, the beloved British actor known for his roles in Die Hard, Sense and Sensibility, and as Severus Snape in the Harry Potter series, was a private individual who kept much of his personal life out of the spotlight. It wasn't until after his death in 2016 that fans learned just how much he had shared through his private diaries, which documented decades of his life and career. Before his passing, Rickman was battling pancreatic cancer, a diagnosis he kept largely to himself. Yet, even during his illness, he continued working, delivering powerful performances that showed no hint of his pain. His journals, later published posthumously, revealed a man who was deeply reflective, witty, and passionate about his craft. Rickman's entries provided insight into his thoughts on fame, the creative process, and his frustrations and joys as an actor. One poignant revelation was Rickman's unwavering commitment to the Harry Potter series, even when he initially doubted his character's trajectory. He saw Snape as a deeply misunderstood figure, and his portrayal reflected that nuance. Rickman's private musings underscored the depth of his intellect and the care he brought to his work, leaving fans with an even greater appreciation of his legacy. River Phoenix, the gentle spirit of Hollywood. River Phoenix was a rising star in the 1980s and early 1990s, celebrated for his performances in films like Stand By Me and My Own Private Idaho. Before his tragic death at the age of 23 in 1993, Phoenix was known not only for his immense talent, but also for his compassionate and introspective nature. In the years leading up to his passing, Phoenix had become increasingly outspoken about environmentalism, animal rights, and social justice. He used his fame to support causes he believed in, often donating large portions of his earnings to charitable organizations. Despite his growing stardom, Phoenix shied away from the Hollywood lifestyle, preferring quiet moments with his family and friends over glitzy events. His final interviews revealed a young man deeply concerned with the world's inequalities and eager to use his platform for good. Phoenix's sudden death from a drug overdose outside a Los Angeles nightclub shocked the world, but the revelations about his altruism and gentle spirit only deepened the loss. His life served as a reminder of the fragility of young talent and the importance of nurturing those who seek to make a difference. Gene Wilder, a life defined by love and laughter. Gene Wilder, known for his iconic roles in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Young Frankenstein, was a master of comedy who brought joy to millions. Yet in his final years, Wilder's life was defined by quiet dignity and love. Before his death in 2016, he was privately battling Alzheimer's disease, a diagnosis he and his family chose to keep from the public. Wilder's decision to keep his illness a secret stemmed from his desire to preserve the joy he brought to fans. He didn't want his condition to overshadow the happy memories people associated with his performances. Even as his health declined, Wilder remained devoted to his wife, Karen, who described their final years together as filled with love and laughter. In his later interviews and writings, Wilder reflected on the importance of kindness, humor, and living in the moment. He spoke fondly of his collaborations with Mel Brooks and his late wife, Gilda Radner, whose own battle with cancer inspired him to advocate for cancer awareness. Wilder's final years were a testament to his enduring optimism and the power of love to sustain us in life's most difficult moments. Christopher Reeve, redefining strength and courage. Christopher Reeve, immortalized as Superman, became a symbol of hope and resilience after the horse riding accident in 1995 that left him paralyzed from the neck down. What we learned about Reeve in the years leading up to his death in 2004 wasn't just about his physical courage, but also his incredible mental and emotional strength. Reeve refused to let his paralysis define him, dedicating his life to advancing medical research for spinal cord injuries and becoming a powerful advocate for people with disabilities. Despite his condition, Reeve directed films, wrote an inspiring autobiography, and even returned to acting, earning accolades for his work on television. He tirelessly campaigned for stem cell research, delivering passionate speeches that moved millions. Reeve's perseverance in the face of unimaginable adversity reminded the world that heroism isn't confined to the screen. His death was heartbreaking, but his legacy endures as a testament to the triumph of the human spirit over physical limitations. Anna Nicole Smith, a tragic struggle for identity. Anna Nicole Smith, who rose to fame as a model, actress, and reality TV star, was often perceived as a larger-than-life celebrity. Yet her final years revealed a deeply troubled individual searching for identity and stability in the midst of public scrutiny and personal turmoil. In the months before her death in 2007, Smith experienced a devastating loss when her 20-year-old son, Daniel, passed away just days after she gave birth to her daughter, Dania Lynn. This personal tragedy was compounded by legal battles over paternity, her late husband's estate, and relentless media attention. What emerged from interviews and those close to her was a portrait of a woman who longed for love, acceptance, and a sense of belonging. Behind the glamour and controversy, Smith's vulnerability was palpable, and her struggles with substance abuse were a reflection of the immense pressures she faced. Her story became a cautionary tale about the cost of fame and the importance of mental health awareness. Bernie Mac, a legacy of laughter and determination. Bernie Mac, the charismatic comedian and actor known for The Bernie Mac Show and his roles in films like Ocean's 11, brought joy to millions with his sharp humor and larger-than-life personality. However, in the final years of his life, Mac quietly battled sarcoidosis, a chronic illness that affects the body's organs, particularly the lungs. Despite his worsening condition, Mac continued working, determined to bring laughter to his audience. In interviews shortly before his death in 2008, Mac opened up about his philosophy on life and work, emphasizing the importance of perseverance and living with purpose. He described how his struggles growing up in poverty shaped his relentless drive to succeed. Friends and colleagues later spoke about Mac's generosity, describing him as someone who lifted others even when he was silently suffering. His death at just 50 years old was a shock, but his story of determination and humor in the face of adversity remains an enduring inspiration. Brittany Murphy's husband, Simon Monjack, a shared tragedy. While Brittany Murphy's tragic story is widely known, less attention has been paid to her husband, Simon Monjack, who passed away just 5 months after her in 2010. In the months before his death, Monjack opened up about his grief over losing Murphy, revealing a deeply emotional and complicated portrait of their relationship. He claimed that Murphy had been his muse, and that her loss left him adrift. In interviews and statements, Monjack described their life together as one of mutual love and dependency. However, there were darker sides to his story, including rumors of financial struggles and questions surrounding their health before Murphy's death. What emerged from the revelations about Monjack's final months was the portrait of a man grappling with profound loss and a shared struggle with his wife that raised questions about the pressures they faced as a couple. The story of their intertwined lives and deaths remains both tragic and mysterious, leaving fans to wonder what truly transpired in their final days. Patrick Swayze, grace and grit in the face of illness. Patrick Swayze, best known for his roles in Dirty Dancing and Ghost, embodied charm and strength on screen, but his final years revealed even greater courage. Diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in early 2008, Swayze continued working and living life with remarkable grace. Even as he endured grueling treatments, he refused to let his diagnosis define him, filming the television series The Beast while undergoing chemotherapy. In interviews, Swayze was candid about his battle with cancer, describing both the physical toll and the emotional resilience it required. He remained deeply devoted to his wife, Lisa Niemi, whom he credited as his greatest source of strength. Swayze also spoke about his desire to inspire others facing similar struggles, emphasizing the importance of hope and determination. His death in 2009 left a void in Hollywood, but his bravery in the face of terminal illness and his refusal to give up on his craft left a powerful legacy. Swayze's story is a testament to living fully and authentically, even in the most challenging of circumstances. James Dean, a philosophical rebel in life and death. James Dean, a cultural icon known for his roles in Rebel Without a Cause and East of Eden, remains synonymous with youthful rebellion and untapped potential. Before his tragic death at the age of 24 in a car accident in 1955, Dean's interviews and letters revealed a young man deeply introspective and philosophical about life and art. Dean often spoke about his disdain for superficiality in Hollywood, expressing a yearning to create work that truly mattered. He was fascinated by Eastern philosophy, particularly Zen Buddhism, and incorporated its teachings into his approach to acting and life. He once remarked, "Dream as if you'll live forever. Live as if you'll die today. a phrase that encapsulated his belief in seizing the moment and living authentically. Friends and colleagues recalled his passion for racing and his love of pushing boundaries, which tragically foreshadowed the car crash that ended his life. Dean's philosophical musings and his desire to leave a mark on the world continue to resonate with fans, cementing his legacy as more than just a Hollywood heartthrob. Natasha Richardson, a life devoted to family and the stage. Natasha Richardson, a gifted actress and member of the renowned Redgrave acting dynasty, was celebrated for her elegance and talent in both film and theater. In the years leading up to her untimely death in 2009 after a skiing accident, Richardson had stepped away from Hollywood's spotlight to focus on her family and stage career. Richardson's dedication to her husband, actor Liam Neeson, and their 2 sons was a defining aspect of her life. Friends described her as someone who valued relationships above all else, preferring the intimacy of theater over the glamour of film. In her final interviews, Richardson spoke about her deep love for performing live on stage, where she felt the connection between actor and audience was most powerful. Her sudden passing at age 45 shocked the world, but her warmth, humility, and devotion to her family left an indelible mark. Richardson's life highlighted the importance of balancing fame with personal priorities and living with intention. Peter Sellers, the comic genius haunted by loneliness. Peter Sellers, known for his comedic brilliance in films like The Pink Panther and Dr. Strangelove, was a master of transformation on screen. Yet in the years leading up to his death in 1980, at age 54, it became clear that Sellers' personal life was marked by deep loneliness and insecurity. Despite his success, he struggled to find lasting happiness and often described himself as feeling empty when he wasn't playing a character. Sellers was candid in his later years about his dependence on relationships, fame, and material success to fill the void within him. He had a tumultuous personal life, marked by multiple marriages and a longing for validation. Despite these struggles, Sellers remained dedicated to his craft, delivering unforgettable performances that showcased his genius. In his final months, Sellers expressed regret about the relationships he had damaged and the parts of life he had neglected in pursuit of his career. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the toll that fame and self-doubt can take, even on those who appear to have it all. Bela Lugosi, a Dracula forever linked to his role. Bela Lugosi, best known for his iconic portrayal of Count Dracula in the 1931 classic, became forever linked to the vampire character that made him famous. However, what we learned in the years before his death in 1956 was how that fame also became his curse. Lugosi struggled to escape typecasting, and his career declined as audiences and studios refused to see him as anything other than Dracula. In his later years, Lugosi battled financial troubles and an addiction to morphine and alcohol, which stemmed from chronic pain and emotional despair. Despite these hardships, Lugosi remained proud of his contributions to cinema, frequently appearing in public dressed as Dracula, and embracing fans who adored him. In his final interviews, Lugosi spoke of his love for the craft and his belief that every actor should be remembered for their passion rather than their struggles. His death at 73 marked the end of a tumultuous life, but the respect he showed for his work and fans endures as a reminder of his lasting impact on horror and film history. Marilyn Monroe, a complex soul behind the glamour. Marilyn Monroe's iconic status as the ultimate Hollywood bombshell often overshadowed the complexity and depth of her character. In the years leading up to her tragic death in 1962 at the age of 36, Monroe's writings and interviews revealed a woman yearning to be taken seriously as an actress and an individual. She fought against the industry's tendency to reduce her to a sex symbol, studying method acting at the Actors Studio in New York, and pushing for roles that challenged her image. In her journals, later published in the book Fragments, Monroe wrote about her struggles with self-doubt, loneliness, and a desire for personal and professional fulfillment. She was acutely aware of the disconnect between the glamorous persona the public adored and the vulnerable woman she felt herself to be. Monroe sought to redefine her career in her final years, launching her own production company and advocating for more control over her projects. Her untimely death shocked the world, leaving behind a legacy of beauty, talent, and a tragic sense of what could have been. Monroe's story continues to resonate as a symbol of the complex interplay between fame, ambition, and identity. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us What are your thoughts on the surprising facts we learn about actors? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.